Marshall skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.
G'day everyone, and welcome back to the TGIF podcast. Thank God it's footy. Big one this week for a number of reasons. Obviously none bigger than the FIFA World Cup final coming up. But before we crack on with that, it's the first time you'll be able to geese us as viewers rather than listeners. So if you're on YouTube, hello. But as we usually do, I'll check in with my mate across from me. How's your week, my friend?
Yeah, g'day listeners and viewers for the first time. It's good to be back as always, and yeah, it's something a little bit different. We're changing it up a little bit. We're testing it out, testing the waters, you know, looking at the temperature, seeing how it goes, and yeah, fingers crossed that you enjoy it. Give us your feedback. Let us know what you're thinking. As you can see, we've got the lovely Arsenal shirts up behind us and a great New South Wales Blues origin jersey there as well. So we've got our sporting memorabilia up, and we'll try and get a little bit more as we go on. But it's been a good week. Had a couple of days off work, a little bit of a flu. Now we're COVID negative, no worries there. We've taken our tests and we're on the mend, we're on the up as we get to the end of the year. So it's good timing, you know, get this out of the way now. And then when you get to Chrissy in the new year, you know, you can fly on through hot. So, yeah. It's been a good week. Shout out, I guess, goes to a bloke that we seem to be shouting out every week at the moment. That we don't have too many viewers and listeners just yet, and he's one of our top listeners. And that is Fred the Flying Kiwi Cabal. Now, managed to get himself his first Birkenhead RSA Club 180 last night. Up against a great darts player and Harrison. He's got his own shirt, so it's pretty awesome. Fred was pretty stoked. A couple of guans that were had afterwards.
Guan.
So yeah, really cool. So good on Fred. It's only up from here. So I know that he's pretty stoked today. So shout out to him.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll be happy to see this, Freddie, when you tune on in. I'm sure you'll probably be our first viewer as well. So no, it's been a good week. I've got 3 more days of work to go, 2.5. Not that I'm counting. We got prize giving tomorrow, so we'll be getting spick and span. We'll be chucking the longies on. I haven't worn long pants for a wee while.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm a shorts dude.
It's not very often you see this guy lace up a pair of nice shoes with long pants, but
yeah, some nice fancy shoes
got to be
on as
done
well.
every now and then.
Yeah, so it'll be good. I'm sure the kids are going to have a laugh at school. But I'm also rocking this today, and we'll get into it a little bit.
Sporting memorabilia.
Get into it a little bit later, but tomorrow morning, as I'd like to hope that you're all aware, around 8:30, the big rig Ben Robb will be getting the World Championships underway up against Mickey Mansell, and we'll be crossing our fingers and our toes and everything else that we can cross on our bodies so that he can come away with the win and get a little bit of action up against Peter Wright a little bit later on in the day, fingers crossed. But that'll be me tomorrow in the morning. I'll be trying to tune in for as much as that as I can before prize giving starts, and then if he wins, touch wood, I'll be having to watch that delayed, a little bit of a replay possibly at morning tea, see how he goes. But should we have a little look at the week that was, I guess, then, in terms of the world of sport? And there's been a couple of sad bits of news, I guess, that's come out of the World Cup, hasn't there?
Yeah, there's a few deaths that have been reported out of Qatar there. First of all, one you've probably all heard of, Grant Wall, well-respected football journalist, obviously suddenly collapsing, and that was just after the Netherlands-Argentina game there, and
a little bit of talk in the media that it's something that's possibly done by the officials there in Qatar. But I did see something today. Apparently, his wife has come out and said that it was an aneurysm.
Yep, so I've seen that as well.
That's one of those little bit of those airy-fairy conspiracy sort of looking things there when you're thinking that a nation has gone ahead and done something like that. You know, we know that there has been, I guess, what's the word we're looking for? Like a...
I guess there's been a cloud of mystery over this World Cup. I
don't
know if that's what you're going for.
Not really where I was going. But there has been some
controversy.
Some controversial...
shrouded in sort of stuff that seems to be getting swept under the rug.
Yeah.
A few bells and whistles.
Now we know obviously that there's been...
bit of wool being pulled over people's eyes.
Yeah, maybe that's sort of where I was going. But, you know, you've got corrupt things that have happened with FIFA throughout the years. We know how it works there. So I think at the start everyone was obviously thinking that this World Cup was a bit of a joke, but I think no one can probably argue with how enjoyable it's been to watch on the field.
Yeah, well, there's certainly been some shocks on the field in the results, but I don't think that's got too much to do with the fact that it is in Qatar there. So the football's been, really good, but obviously Grant Wall was the journalist who was famously locked up for wearing that rainbow shirt just a few days prior. So, yeah, there was a bit of mystery surrounding that one, but his wife seems to have cleared it up. But a couple more. A photographer, a Qatari local there, Khalid Al-Mislam, might have butchered that name there, but he passed away. And some Kenyan fella who
I did see that
he's just fallen, and that's all we know about
security,
it.
And that security guard had a bit of a tunnel, so rest in peace to him. But I guess on slightly lighter news, and I guess the only positive England fans can take out of the World Cup is the first World Cup where there's been, it could be a lie, but no English fans arrested.
Wow.
So well done to the fans over there in Qatar for keeping their noses out of trouble.
Particularly when you come to think about their attitude towards alcohol and a few other things, to say the least.
I guess quite a lot of similarities to the Kiwis, I guess you could say.
Yeah, well, the Qataris obviously definitely have polarizing views from the English. But
the English very similar to the Kiwis,
love a bit of piss and a bit of footy, so very surprising, but good on them. Yeah, a nice surprise, I guess. But one thing, if we switch lanes into the other footy, which is not such a nice surprise, coming out of pre-season there.
But is it a surprise?
Manly fans.
Is it a shock?
Tommy
is it expected?
Nat Sitter, is it really a shock? He's suffered yet another hamstring injury there. So, geez, it's I've seen it. It's looking like 6 to 8 weeks. So,
yeah, poor bloke. He can't catch a break.
Yeah, can't catch a break at the moment.
It's fuck. If you're a Manly fan, you've got to be pretty disappointed, I think, because we all know what he brings to the team, and I think if that was me there in charge, I'd be saying, mate, you rest up, you wrap yourself in cotton wool and in bubble wrap, and you chuck yourself in a nice a feathery, one of those jackets, down jackets, one of those, and you keep yourself soft, you keep yourself cruisy up until March. And then when the season comes around, we know you're usually fit. We know your ability.
Get out there and rip.
Just get out there, maybe like that sort of Ronaldinho mold, where he didn't train and he
rocked up to get a massage
with chicks.
Yeah.
I don't see Tommy as being the womanizer like Ronaldinho possibly, but has he got a missus? I'm sure he does.
I think so, actually.
I'm sure he does.
I remember that from the Deli Ams.
He's a good looking bloke.
Or one of those.
So, and he'll need someone to help him out, every now and again when he's on the crutches. So
every now and then, every second
week at this rate. But a little bit unfortunate. So it's, I guess, is it another season possibly for Manly where they're sort of fighting around down the bottom there if they can't keep him fit?
Yeah, look, I seriously think that sort of, with the new coach as well,
because of changes though.
Yeah, it might sort of bump them out of that sort of top 8 contender role, maybe back into the shit fight with the likes of our clubs, the Tigs and the Dragons there, but if they can get a fully fit Tommy Turbo, I think they'd be cruising their way through to the top 8 there. So 6 to 8 weeks, and then I'd probably be giving them another 3 or 4 on top of that just to ease into it.
Make sure you're good to go,
Maybe
mate.
a game of reserve grade, 40, 50 minutes, and then does he switch positions? Maybe that's a discussion for another time, but definitely racking up the runs on the board in terms of injuries.
Days spent on the injury card.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he'll be like Abu Dhabi at the end of his career. More days on the sideline than fit.
Yeah, real rough. But I guess again a little bit closer to home. I saw this on the news today. Kane Williamson stepped down as the captain of the Test side. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it's a bit of a shocking one. He's going to continue to skipper the one-day and T20 sides, but look, on the one hand, I can definitely understand why. Probably because there's so much pressure on him. To perform, probably more than definitely the other batsmen in the side. And after the T20 World Cup, there was a lot of talk about maybe him stepping down from that code, but look, he's a dude that's sort of done it through setting his own high standards, I suppose. Like, he's been up there in the top handful of batsmen for the last 8, 9, 10 years, so
up there in those conversations with
a lot of pressure on the bloke's shoulders. So if he can offload a bit to someone else in the team, then always nice. And Timmy Southey coming in to replace him, he's
well deserved.
Very experienced cricketer, and obviously been one of our premier bowlers there for a while. So New Zealand and Australia with a fast bowler as their skipper, which you don't see too often in cricket.
Cool to see, eh? So good on Timmy. Congratulations to you, sir. We wish you well, and we're sure that you'll do the job.
I'm sure he'll do the country proud as he always does. He's definitely done a great job when he's stepped in Kane's absence, and it means Kane can just focus on getting bulk runs. And
exactly. Eh?
Getting those tons for the country, and taking that black fern helmet off and
raise the helmet, raise the bat,
100 after 100. I'd like to see it. So Timmy to captain the side in Pakistan over the new year. So interesting development from the Black Caps, but not sure too much will change really.
I don't see it changing too much in terms of the way that
just a bit of a change of pressure. Kane's just offloaded a bit of that pressure.
He'll
to
still lead on
his
the
other
pitch,
senior
I'm
mates.
sure. We speak about it a few times in terms of people like Xhaka. He'll still lead on the pitch, and I'm sure Timmy was also a big leader in terms of what he brought to the team as well. So I don't see too much changing, but a little bit of difference and something to look into, I guess, as we get into the summer of cricket. But it's probably about that in terms of the news as such. Now, no winnings to report on from last week, unfortunately.
But no losings.
I suppose, exactly. No losses. We're middle ground, middle of the road. Shout out to someone from work who actually said $8.50 for 2 of those games there on the weekend of those quarterfinals to go to pens. And first 2 games, boom, came away with it. So well done.
Too easy.
Should we get into that World Cup then, shall we?
Yeah. Well, we'll crack on to a bit of FIFA World Cup, and starting off with the first game, which was a bit of a shock, really. Maybe not as huge of a shock as some of the other results we've seen, but I definitely wouldn't have picked this one. Obviously not a huge disparity in their FIFA rankings, but Brazil, they sumbered their way home to the airport after the quarterfinal loss to Croatia.
Yeah, I'm sure Roy Keane would have been loving saying that after what he'd been saying about them doing too much dancing. I think you got to embrace it. It's a World Cup. It's about their culture. It's what did we say a few weeks ago? National glory. It's you're representing your nation. So
that's Brazil through and through, isn't it? Dancing and football.
They lost, and they weren't able to do it up against a Croatia side who were able to get to the final last World Cup, and against a team that pretty experienced. And with a Ballon d'Or winner in the middle there, leading your side, you know, that sort of grit and determination seemed to get them over the line, I guess, in the end.
Yeah, as well as probably the main man they have to thank on the night, their big man in between the sticks there, Livakovic. He was
unreal. He's
like top class.
He's a bloody awesome keeper.
I've seen he's probably earned his way a move to Bayern Munich there to back up / take on the role from Neuer as he maybe transitions out of the game. But yeah, he was
transitions in CDM. Get Neuer back in there on the outfield.
Yeah, maybe Neuer's not that old, but
sure. I think he's getting on. But yeah, great little understudy and someone to come in.
A string of world-class saves in that one
against Brazil.
I mean, it could have, to be fair, on the balance of play, ended up 2-3-0 to the Brazilians after 90, but a number of big saves and maybe some iffy decisions from the Brazilians meant they went to extra time, and then Neymar thought he might have been the hero there.
Yeah, nice little goal,
equalising the big man we mentioned last week, Pelé, his record for Brazil there, equalling the official record. So they're both on 77, which is a little bit bittersweet after Croatia went and nabbed the equaliser. And then as they
rolled through in the pens,
as they did against the Japs, it was emphatic. And they obviously didn't mind taking a side to pens this World Cup.
They handle that pressure. They seem to really enjoy it there when it gets down to the nitty gritty like that. So
possibly even they thrive in that situation, whereas Brazil would have had the pressure of not only Brazil but the whole footballing world expecting them to win that one, whereas Croatia had nothing to lose. So yeah, good on Croatia there. But another game between a South American giant and a European side, which, you know, no disrespect to the Netherlands, but probably a lot of people would have been picking this one. Argentina, going through up against them, but
obviously, you know, we were down at golf at the time, and there's a house sort of adjacent, I guess, to where the golf course is, and there was this family in there, and they're watching, and you're keeping yourself away from the score, and I've been keeping up to date with it as I was going, and
I had a feeling they were cheering pens, and I heard their accents, and I thought, they sound Latino.
Just this big fucking woohoo, like
and
that.
They're putting their flag out, and I was like, I can't look up and see what flag it is, like.
So it was they were loving it, But it was, one of those 2-0. I'd said to Osh, oh fuck, that looks like that's probably a game there, and then checked again, I don't know what time it was, Weghorst had got the first, then must have checked again, thinking, added time's got to be over by now, and they'd got that second goal, who would have thought you need 2 goals, you bring on Weghorst to be the man to do it.
Yeah, look, I mean, Argentina would have thought they were going to be cruising through once they went 2-0 up after Messi assisted Molina for the opener and slotted the pen there in the 73rd. But like you said, right on the stroke of the end of 11 minutes of added time there, Weghorst equalises and sends it to extra time, and Argentina might have won it right at the death with a really good strike from Fernandez there, but just hit the post. And like you said before, shout out to Bevan for giving you that tip, because went to pens, second game in a row, and tick 2 out of 4 straight away off the bat. But look, Emi Martinez, he turned into that hero for Argentina in this one.
Oh, how good to see the journey that he's been on. He went out on loan, I think it might have been like 2011, maybe even earlier, to Oxford.
Yeah.
Played 1 game, ended up, I remember him having an absolute shocker there at Reading. And he was always that like 4th, that was back when he was Damien, Damien Martinez.
Yeah.
That was what he was rocking on FIFA there, Damien. And just to see the way he's been able to progress and, obviously become a first team keeper at club level and then to, become, I guess, Argentina's hero, did it at the Copa America. So, real good to see.
2 saves to start off the pens. I mean, doesn't get much better, A, if you're the keeper in a penalty shootout, or B, if you're a striker going to take a pen and, my keeper's just saved too.
Exactly.
Like, all we got to do here is, tuck away 4 of these and we're away. But, yeah, shout out to, who was it? Latoro?
Martinez, yeah, I think it was,
the other hero, slotting that winning pen there. So, yeah, but I guess the main story that everyone might have seen, apart from that workhorse last-minute equaliser there, was this one ended up threatening to get a little bit out of hand and possibly did, with a fair few incidents there.
Not much in terms of fair play, that's for sure. 18 yellow cards, something diabolical like that. A few calls, I think, where the rest probably just maybe lost control a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's been a little bit of that this World Cup.
Wasn't able to hack it, I guess, you could say. So, real weird one. There's been a little bit of, I guess, talk about FIFA, trying to sort of keep it rigged, I guess, to get Messi going. I haven't seen much VAR reviews for any of these pens that have involved Argentina, and some very interesting reffing, and then a bit of argy-bargy in the tunnels afterwards with Wout and Messi calling him a fool.
Yeah, I mean, there was all sorts of shit talk in this one. I think starting mostly from the Dutch pre-game.
Yeah, then we had the boat into the bench.
Yeah, the Argentine kicked back on that with, I guess, Messi first of all with his, I'm going to butcher this, I can't say his name,
Riquelme
Charisma, that's right. His famous celebration.
Yeah.
Messi doing that one there, so yeah, and then that Argentinian dude fucking booting the ball at the Dutch bench and
that was nuts, yeah.
Getting stepped out by the entire Dutch reserves and coaching staff, but probably expected after you get a ball booted at you.
Can you imagine being on the receiving end of that?
I would probably do something similar.
You're waiting on that throw and then boom, the ball comes flying in at you, so you'd be a bit shocked.
Sitting on the bench, but yeah, a bit of a hectic one. But end of the day, Argentina are through. But possibly one of the stories so far of the World Cup in their quarterfinal matchup, the Moroccans getting up over the Portuguese. How good was that for Morocco? Oh baby.
The defence that Morocco have had, throughout the World Cup was just unreal. Like I saw something. Don't know when it was that I'd seen it, but the coach, I can't remember how to pronounce his name correctly. 8 or maybe it was 7 games. He'd only played 3. They'd only been involved in 3 friendlies before the World Cup, all with clean sheets, to then only concede to Canada. Like it's you keep a clean sheet against Portugal. You keep a clean sheet against Spain. You keep a clean sheet against Belgium. That's pretty fucked, Like,
I mean, yeah, the only goal they've conceded, of course, up until this morning, was that solitary goal against the Canadians. Outstanding. And Bono in between the sticks there. I think, just like Levakovic, we've unearthed a new gem in between the sticks there, and he could be finding his way to a big club or a big pay rise after the performances he showed out there for Morocco, because he was excellent.
He plays for Sevilla, so he's already playing at a decent level, but I think
could be in for a good pay rise. And say, there'll be a few clubs sniffing around after my performances on the big stage.
There'll be a couple of players, I'm sure, that'll be looking for some moves, but I think any footy manager fan out there, Levakovic, he's been a name to, I think I probably butchered that pronunciation then, but a name to be aware of for a few years. So one of those sort of youth gems throughout the footy manager ranks, you know, throughout the years. But yeah, this Morocco team, you know, defensively as a unit, so good, like it's unreal.
Like they're very hard to break down, and yeah, obviously denied the Portuguese the chance to give Ronaldo his perfect sign-off from his career at the top there.
He'll be around for the next one, surely.
Yeah.
As long as there's no more like this bullshit around Ronaldo that's been going on, you know, like.
I think he's had a really rough year. Like if you think of it on a human level, like first of all he's lost a son earlier in the year, and it doesn't matter how rich and successful you are. That's one thing that
pretty rough, yeah.
Would be rough no matter what. Obviously losing a family member is always rough, but an infant son would don't know how you could describe it unless you had gone through it yourself, I suppose.
Exactly, yeah.
And yeah, obviously this drama, let's face it, the club he loves, the club he loved as a teenager and throughout his early 20s there, Man United falling apart there is
a story. He's back training at Madrid.
At Real, yeah, I've seen that as well.
Training at Madrid, so.
Yeah, and I guess he had a good chance to equalise there, but Bono again coming up with a good save on the big man.
He was awesome. Really, really cool to see Morocco getting through and cracking that first African team to get into the semi-finals.
Yeah, thanks to Inyezri's towering header. That was insane.
Higher than Ronaldo's jump.
Yeah, 2.73 metres.
That's nuts, eh? Like
I thought I could jump high, but whew, I probably couldn't get that high with my hand.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be reaching 2.73 with my reach, unfortunately, these days. But
it's just towering header. If you haven't seen it, go and watch those highlights.
Yeah, get yourself looking at that. It was awesome. But in the other quarterfinal there, to tee up this semi-final against the Moroccans, we had England up against France, and a little bit of heartbreak there for the English fans.
Yeah, look, I mean, I thought this was probably, I've seen it, it's been described as a disappointment rather than a failure. I can see both sides of the sort of tale there for England. I mean, they really had the better of the game, I thought. Just probably couldn't create enough clear-cut chances or take advantage of some of the half chances that they did create. And yeah, whereas you look at the French and they had less ball, but you know, one of those half chances there managed to go in the back of the net, thanks to a brilliant stroke from Tchouameni to break the deadlock.
Lovely little finisher.
And then, you know, Giroud, he gets a couple of chances, and as he always does, as he's always done, tucks one away. And
I love to see it. One of my favourite ever Gooners, Giroud. So it's awesome to see him getting himself there on the score sheet, and you know, making sure the French get through. I've got to say, personally, pretty happy with the way that the results gone. I've always kind of had that soft spot for the French. You know, you think of the Arsenal teams over the years. We've always had a few French players. Wenger, you know, obviously as well. You know, I mean, when I was younger, I always thought that Wenger had created Arsenal with the name there. So you know,
someone told me that, and I believed it.
Probably when I was first younger, I probably thought that he was the godfather of French football. So, but I got to say I was pretty stoked. You know, then some of the English fans can get pretty vocal, I guess you could say.
Pretty unbearable.
Yeah, the old "it's coming home," and I think you see a Tottenham player bottling it, skying a pen. That's the way it goes, I guess. It's good to see. Don't want to be too harsh, you know, and I'm sure someone, you know, of the ability of Harry Kane, he'll be able to bounce back from it pretty easily. You know, you'd like to hope for his sake, not for our sake, but for his sake. But yeah, I got to say, I was genuinely pretty stoked with the way this game ended up.
Yeah, look, a few talking points, I suppose, in this one though. First of all, I thought that it was a definite foul on Saka there in the build-up to the first goal. What did you think about that one? Were you...
See,
I had the England goggles on. Big fan of the Three Lions. So
I think it's a foul, but I also think you can't just go, oh, we lost because there was a foul.
Of course, it's one of those things where it's unfortunate that a goal came from it, because if it goes down, Chouameni shoots wide, it goes for a goal kick, no one says anything after the game. Even if France win 2-1 with another goal.
I think maybe if it was
just one of those things.
A bit further down, you know, and it was a bit closer to the action.
Yeah,
but
I think that maybe that's why VAR didn't get involved.
A lot of time for like the rest of the players to come back into
5 or 6 passes, it's gone from one end of the field to the other. It's a brilliant strike from Chouameni, take nothing away from
So it's
that.
a bit rough, but
I thought Pickford might have potentially done a little bit better, but I think he was also unsighted as well. So yeah, good strike to break the deadlock, and then millimetres away there, maybe centimetres, but Kane almost won a penalty there in the first half.
Yeah,
which would have been I don't know how, first of all, that one wasn't awarded as a free kick, and why VAR didn't send
that was a foul.
The ref to go have a look at it.
Yeah, that was
it's one of those weird ones where if it's not a pen, they can't tell him to go look at it, but if it's a centimetre back, they can't tell them to go look at it and then say, oh no, it's not a pen, it's a free kick.
Yeah,
it's a weird one. It's, I mean, still got to sort out VAR there, but yeah, like you said, Kane slotted his first pen, but couldn't do it.
Slotted the conversion secondly, I guess.
Yes.
Thought he was playing. I'd seen James had said there was a little video actually. Apparently, where he met up with Johnny Wilkinson before going to the World Cup, and they did some pens together, and apparently Wilkinson just gets up and just slots it over the crossbar, and he's like, "Fuck mate, you know you're supposed to be fucking getting it in the goal, brother." He's like, "Oh, that's how I fucking won a World Cup for England, you know, slotted the penalty like that." So what does Kane do? He goes up there and he just skied his fucking pen over the top.
And he goes,
no, in this video
Johnny
apparently,
Wilkinson.
he's gone up there and he's done it, and there you go, man, we got it sus. So apparently, there you go, English fans, you can blame another one of your heroes there,
Johnny Wilkinson.
Yeah. But it did it. It set us up for our 2 semi-finals there.
Yeah.
Croatia and Argentina, and France versus Morocco.
Yeah, first of all, Croatia versus Argentina. It's a little bit unfortunate for this one, in Croatia's point of view, I suppose, that they couldn't make their way through to their second consecutive World Cup final, as we'll touch on shortly. But yeah, Argentina just far too good on the night in this one.
Yeah,
winning 3-0.
A little bit of I don't want to say like a gap in class, but like I think, you know, Argentina had that extra grunt.
Yeah,
you know, they had that little bit
swagger.
of swagger, whatever you want to call it. They just had that little bit extra there. Like I managed to, you know, watch most of this one being off work yesterday, so I saw all the second half, missed a little bit of that first half, but you know, Argentina seemed to be playing pretty confidently, looking like they were loving their footy, I think, which is a big thing as well. So, but again, nothing really, I guess, where you can say that you can't be going past Argentina now. You know, there wasn't anything really there that looked like they might have been a bit dodgy, you know, at certain areas, you know, like looking pretty strong throughout the park.
Yeah, I mean, funny thing is, it's a complete reversal from their fixture in the 2018 World Cup, where Croatia won 3-0 in the group stage there, but obviously Argentina's main man, he had a major contribution in this one. Speaking of that swagger, that sort of level of class, Messi's definitely someone who can bring that, and brought it in spades. But one man who I thought was the star of the night, brought the class in bucket loads if Messi brought it in spades, was Julian Alvarez.
Oh, unreal, eh? Unreal.
Completely unplayable up top there for the Croatian backline, and scored a couple of nice goals. and won the penalty to boot. So yeah, I think one man who's not Argentinian that will be a very happy man watching that will be Pep Guardiola watching his backup.
Every City fan out there knowing you've got Haaland and him.
Haaland as well, like, this is your backup and your main man, like, obviously he's a fucking machine. You don't need to wax lyrical about Haaland's goal scoring, but yeah. Pep will be a very happy man to see Julian and one of his prodigies, Leo Messi, get through to the final off the back.
I'll be stoked. I'm sure he'll be very proud.
Yeah, a good couple of performances there and a second final for the Argentinians in the space of 3 World Cups. So I guess their fans will be hoping that 36-year wait will be over.
Is Messi the man to do it? You know, you'd like to think so.
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll preview that final in a bit, but first, I guess we dissect the other semi-final, which was this morning.
This morning's heartbreak.
Yeah, a bit more heartbreak.
Heartbreak for a neutral, I guess. You know, I have just said 10 minutes ago that I've got a bit of a soft spot for the French, but it is heartbreak. You know, you want to see the underdogs go through.
Look, to be honest,
we love an underdog.
I think the whole world, bar the French, would have been supporting Morocco in this one, and they would have loved to see Morocco get up against the French, just to maybe not see the French win, but yeah, mostly just, yeah, Morocco, what a story they've been this World Cup, and Africa's first final would have been awesome, but
it would have been so good to see.
Yeah, it wasn't to be on the night.
Nice little finish there from Hernandez to start it off.
Really good, really well taken finish.
And then the second goal,
gets his head up, gets his boot up like head high. I don't know how you can be that flexible.
Oh,
it's crazy.
Pretty
without
finish,
doing a bicycle.
Yeah. And then the second goal, his only touch of the game there for Moani. His heat map, only touched the ball once all game. So, and I think that was his first appearance in the World Cup as well.
Must have been.
He was one of those fellas that came in. I think he was the dude who replaced.
Did he replace Benzema?
But then I've seen now that Benzema can play in the final because it was like a 3-week period with his injury where he was able to like come back into the squad. Because I know that not Benzema, it would have been someone else that they replaced because he didn't replace Benzema. I remember he came out.
Maybe I has a cold. Someone else.
Kante.
Someone else.
Kante and Kunku. One of those players at the start of before the World Cup, it's when they brought him in. And I'm pretty sure that they said they weren't going to replace Benzema, and maybe that was for this reason because apparently he's good to go and he's going to be involved in the final. So pretty handy player to have coming in, eh?
Dangerous man to be coming off the bench for a little cameo if they need it. But yeah, well done Moani after tapping in the rebound off Mbappe's shot after he showed some really good feet in the box to maybe show the Spanish and the Portuguese what they were missing up against the Moroccans. But look, I thought this was a little bit different to a few of the games that we've seen from Morocco lately. Obviously conceding that early goal put the impetus on them, and I thought they had a really good crack at it, and they had some really close chances in the end. I can think of 3 that come to mind. Konate cleared across after some really good feint and patience on the ball, I suppose, on the byline there. Composure was the word I was looking for. And yeah, Konate cleared that one just before a Moroccan could get their toe on it.
The Bicey?
Yeah, the Bicey that hit the post.
Well, it looked like also, from what I saw in the news earlier, it looked like Lloris got his fingertips
to tap it onto the post.
But that would have, surely you'd give that goal of the tournament over Richarlison nearly, you know, in terms of
context,
you know, it would have been unreal, eh?
Morocco to equalise at that stage, I believe.
Yep.
On only 1-0 down, and then they had one when they were 2-0 down there that just sort of ricocheted off a Moroccan player's knee rather than a proper shot and landed on Koundé's foot, and he just cleared it, you know. But lucky, but I suppose he was in the right
Right place
at the right time. Good defending at the end of the day. So yeah, super unlucky that Morocco couldn't get through, but fuck, they should be very proud of their efforts.
Oh shit, yeah.
I think, yeah, I'm not alone in the sentiment that definitely unearthed a few gems at this tourney, and a number of those Moroccan players will be super stoked to make it final four of the World Cup. I don't think many people would have ever given them much shout of that.
Yeah, I think Eto'o,
obviously.
He called it.
Samuel Eto'o, shout out to that man.
It was in his bracket. He got the Moroccans involved in there, so well done to him. But yeah, I don't think there would have been too many at the start of the tourney. People that got Morocco in this sweepstakes at work or whatever, they would have been a little bit disappointed. And then to see that, get on that hype, get on that bandwagon throughout. Really awesome, and hopefully it's a sign of things to come for African footballing nations. There's no reason why we can't see a few more involved in the latter stages of a World Cup.
Yeah, 100%. That's definitely what I'd be keen for. Is just not seeing the same. Brazil, Argentina, France, Germany, Italy, like Spain.
Yeah, someone a little bit different.
See someone, make a good run for it. That's
change it up
outside of that top 10, and be cool to see that. And I suppose there's going to be a few more chances with the World Cup due to expand in 2026.
Yeah, we're going to get a few more going.
So I think hopefully that means we'll see a few more nations being able to possibly get
64, is it? I believe 64 nations.
Might be going up from
48
to 48.
48.
So, yeah, there'll be. I think it's. There might be a few more groups, and then there's a round of 32 stage, and like a few of the third place finishers go through.
Oh, okay. So we
works out, but
we get the one
Oceania, we get the automatic
and a playoff.
So chances are, it's probably not chances are, but small chance as it may be, that we may see two nations.
Imagine that
from the oceanic region represented at the World Cup. That would be awesome.
Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, New Caledonia, one of these teams that sort of do well in the OFC Cup. So
it happens every now and then that they do beat us to the OFC Championship. So
yeah, we have seen that in recent years.
We'll have to make sure that we're on for those World Cup qualifying years. And
I'm just having a look now. When was the last time that New Zealand didn't win it?
The OFC. I remember this. One of those French-speaking nations won it a few years ago.
OFC Nations Cup. Okay. Well, where's our final? There we are. Cancelled due to COVID in 2020. 2016, we won it, but 2012. So we lost. I'm guessing we must have lost to New Caledonia. Excuse me. And Tahiti ended up beating New Caledonia there in the final. Yeah. But then, like in 2016, we only just beat Papua New Guinea on pens. So like you get one of these teams involved.
I mean, I don't know if
Tommy Semi from Hamilton playing in the World Cup.
I don't know if we have always got our strongest lineup out there, but with a World Cup spot definitely on the line, I'm sure it will be a thing that we will start seeing in the future. But back to the current World Cup, I suppose. And yeah, a lot of people would have been predicting this one before the start of the tournament. I think a few more might have had Brazil up there in Argentina's spot, but France versus Argentina, I mean, for a neutral, apart from the underdog story of Morocco, I don't think there's much better matchups. I believe 1 and 3 in the world rankings, or 2 and 3, or 3 and 4 maybe. Two high quality sides going at it in France and Argentina, and a couple of big storylines. Can the French go back to back?
Imagine, not been done since Pele and 58
to 62.
58 to 62, there you go, yeah, so a wee while ago. and it would, obviously a lot of these players in the squad were there last time around. Yeah. So, it'd be pretty cool to see, and there's a high chance that a few of them will be there at the next World Cup as well. I mentioned 3 in a row.
Yeah, wow.
Or is it Argentina? Is it Messi? Capping off his international career with a World Cup win, winning it all. All he's got to do then is come over to the Premier League and give it a go.
Yeah, look, he's got a pretty storied career, doesn't he, old Lionel Messi? And yeah, pretty good storyline. Can he cap it with the ultimate prize in football on Monday morning? Another huge storyline, I suppose, in this one. One of, if not the superstar of world football in the 2010s there, and Messi up against what you would say is looking like being one of, if not the superstar of
100%,
the current decade, and Mbappe.
Yeah.
Is it the new generation with the speed and flair that Mbappe has? Or is it the experience of Messi? Obviously Mbappe's got the experience there of winning it last time, but no one's got more experience of winning trophies, well, not many, compared to Messi, do they?
Yeah, it's a tough one to call, like both teams obviously being in this position. Both teams know what the occasion is like. I think it's what it's going to come down to on Monday morning. I think is who gets out of the gates early.
Yep. Who
gets into second gear early on and seems to get just a little bit ahead of the game, ahead of the other team. Can they continue playing at that level for the next say that first half, and can they sneak a goal, and can you get in at half time with your head up, and hopefully from there on you can continue. And I think it's it's a flip of a coin really. Like I've got to say I'm leaning towards France, but I think it's a flip of a coin really.
Yeah. Look, we saw both these sides take early leads in their respective semi-finals, so they'll be, like you say, definitely looking to get out the gates early. And I think we saw it last time, France scoring pretty early there in the first 15-20 minutes or so. And yeah, that one ended up going well and truly in their favour, and they'll be hoping to make it back-to-back. Deschamps, obviously the first manager in nearly 100 years with different Brazilian managers winning that 58 and 62 World Cups. Shout out to some Italian dude from 1930, 34. I think were the two World Cups.
Yeah, you got both of them, good on
him. Yeah, shout out to him. I forget his name. I saw it the other day in an article, but look, both teams have players that would have been to this occasion before with the Argentines.
Not 1930, because that was the first one. That was when Uruguay won that one.
Maybe they won 34-38.
34-38. Yeah, 34-38. You are correct. I can't seem to find...
Just Google who was the manager for Italy 1934.
That's cheating. I'm trying to find it the hard way. I'm having a little scour here.
But look, Deschamps is looking to join that elusive one-man club.
I would imagine that, eh?
After he joined Beckenbauer's captain manager club last World Cup.
Vittorio Pozzo.
Yeah, Pozzo.
Italian football player, manager and journalist. The creator of the Metodo tactical formation. Okay. Good on him, man, yeah. Only men's national team to win the World Cup under the same coach. Yeah, good on him. What a man. An accolade. Yeah, what a man, and what an accolade to have.
What an accolade.
If the Shops can go on and do the same, in modern day football, I think it would be quite a feat.
Yes, quite a feat. Obviously a very exclusive club. But yeah, like I said, Argentina will have players that have been there before. Maybe Messi and Di Maria. Don't know if there'll be too many others in there. Otamendi might have been a squad member then, might have been starting, but I seem to remember it being Mascherano, Zabaleta.
An ageing defence, back then.
Back then I think they had quite experienced defence line there, but look, the French have been there as well last time round, and they'll have half their starting lineup with that experience, I suppose. And like you said, it'll be a very close one. I think personally the keys will be, there's three major ones, along with getting out of those blocks early, is making those zero mistakes at the back, because look, we saw it. Like,
He's one of those players, I know, like,
you can't give Mbappe a free run and on goal. You can't gift Messi the ball, Alvarez in the form he's in. They're lethal, both the forward lines. They'll pounce in any mistakes. So yeah, I guess on the other end of the stick is making sure when you do get those chances is to really pounce on them and stick them in the back of the net, because World Cup final you don't tend to get too many.
You're exactly right there, eh?
Particularly clear-cut chances, and I guess the team that will on the day probably have the clear-cut chances is the team that can dominate in that midfield there, because like I said, we can wax lyrical all we like about those forwards that both teams have, but if they don't get any of the bloody ball, then they can't really do much, can they? Messi, Mbappe, Alvarez, Giroud to a degree, these are the sort of players you want to be playing on the front foot, whipping balls into them. If the Argentinian defence line can get settled, they can man up, mark up on Mbappe, or they can squeeze Giroud out of the box for his headers there. But big midfield battle coming up for the respective midfields.
Yeah, well and truly.
And then definitely, I mean, pretty obvious those ones. Probably the key in any sort of game, but
but hey,
in a close game like that,
in a game like this, that's when you need to be on what you need to be on top of, on top of those fundamentals, and make sure you're not screwing up any of those basics, because you'll get.
I think that's what it'll come down.
You'll get punished.
Both teams are top quality. They'll be able to. They've all got all the tricks in the book, but it's just which team sort of flinches first, I suppose, blinks first in that. What do you call it? Standoff, Mexican standoff.
Yeah, the old fucking when you're walking back to back.
I mean, haven't had a penalty shootout in a final there since the French went to one up against the Italians in 2006.
Oh, yep, that would have been the last
penalty
last
shootout.
One. Are we going to see a headbutt? Is that what you call it?
Zidane.
A headbutt. Is it Messi headbutting Mbappe? Is it maybe not Messi? Is it maybe one of those more hearty Argentinian fellas coming up against maybe one of these more skillful, or is it
quite emotional, those Argentinians, particularly when
you chuck a World Cup final into the mix.
When they've made a gnarly challenge, or someone's made a gnarly challenge on them, they definitely treat it as more than life or death matter.
They're a passionate bunch. Those Argentinians, I can imagine why he would have been pumping the other day, and I'm sure it would have been pumping come Monday morning. But I have to say, I'm leaning towards the French. I think they take it in this one. I think they're going to be just too strong for this one, and I think there's, I don't want to say heartbreak as such, but I guess it is heartbreak for anyone that's a Messi fan out there. I don't think he's going to be doing it this time around, unfortunately, and it may be the last time. But I guess, in terms of what I was saying before, from what 8-year-old Nat would have thought, if Arsene Wenger was the godfather of football, or French football, I guess you could say it's probably coming home.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think I'm also leaning towards the French. Football's going home to Mr. Wenger there, his nice little house down on the coast. No, south coast there. Football's coming home. You heard it here first on TGIF. There's your scoop. Take that to the bookies and see what they do with it. Probably not too much. But,
get yourself involved in it. Get yourself involved in a bit of Monday morning. Get up nice and early. 4 AM for us Kiwis.
Yep, I'll be doing it.
Bacon and eggs on the go. Get yourself a coffee, and most of all, enjoy.
100%. Enjoy It's the last time we'll see a FIFA World Cup match until 2026. So.
And that's the last one we'll ever see in Qatar, I bet you, I can assure you of that.
I think it will be the last one that we ever see in Qatar.
Yeah,
I don't know if there'll be another one in our lifetime.
Possibly not.
But
make the most of it, punters. Make the most of it.
It's been a fairly interesting ride, but the football's been good, so yeah. Well done, Qatar.
Yeah, thank you, Qatar. You've given us
as dodgy as it
a
was.
spectacle. You've given us some beautiful looking stadiums.
Yeah, I must say that Lusail.
That's a gorgeous
architectural masterpiece there.
You gave us a stadium that was used for 3 weeks and then dismantled. Stadium 7-3 something. And yeah, you've given us a couple of weeks of solid entertainment and some good football. So we thank you for that. And I guess, barring a small review next week, we bid farewell to the World Cup. And we move on to a little bit of the cricket.
Yeah, a bit of cricket. Starting off with Aussie wrapping up their series against the West Indies in a bit of style.
A little bit unfair, eh?
No thanks to Mani.
Absolutely killing it again. Obviously, what he was able to go out there and do in that first test, pretty unreal.
Double 100 and then 100.
But
goes and adds another 150.
Yeah, how good this time around, eh?
And then shout out to Travis Head
as well. Yeah, there was a stage there where I think they were both on about what was that? Must have been about, because they both got their 150 in the end, and I think Head was run out there for, was it 175?
174, 175, 176.
Bit of a weird run out there as well. Got the first and then went for the second, and
Cam Green sent him back, I think.
Sent him back, and he sort of had to get the old dive in there, but he'd be a little bit gutted. I think he came out and said he was just as disappointed about that one as he was when he got out on 99.
Yeah, in front of his home crowd, bringing up a nice 200 would have been good for him, but yeah, gutted to be run out just shy, I suppose, but hey, better than 99. It's more runs on the board and it's one more digit in his hundreds column, so yeah, well done. And then look, after the Windies were bowled out for 214
not the
in
best.
reply, wasn't much chance of a positive result for them there. Look, wasn't the best, but they did bounce back a little bit with the ball in their second innings, and the streak of Mani Hundies was broken.
Yeah, he would be a little bit gutted, I can imagine, not being able to continue on and continue that streak. But you know, I think it wasn't the batting display there that was to be looked at in awe. I think it was what was to come next in terms of the bowling, and the big man Scotty Boland with a devastating over there. What was that?
3 wickets.
3 wicket maiden.
Wicket dot, wicket dot, wicket dot.
Yeah, just that's what you like to see. It's one of those things that you've either watched it and you've gone wowzers, or you've tuned in and you've wowzers, or you've looked at it afterwards and even then still wowzers, but maybe not to that extent. But I know that I was that third sort of wowzers, and I tuned in and I was checking it out, and I saw 3. I might have even seen it on Instagram or Facebook or one of the social medias there, but unreal figures there from him, and it really seemed to set the tone for what was to continue, I guess.
Yeah, really spurred them on. Scotty Boland looks slowly but surely becoming a little bit of an Australian icon there after his heroics at the MCG in the Ashes last year, picking up 6 for overall.
6 for 20 or something like that,
yeah. I don't even know if it was 20, but
the teams.
Still, yeah. 38 for 4, Scotty Boland left him at the end of day 3, and
6 for 7.
Yeah, 6
for 7, that's right. It was
like
fucking
6 for 11
nothing,
yeah. 6 for 7, yeah. And look, after that, it ended pretty quickly on day 4 with the Windies been cleaned out for 77 there, and
that was a wowzers. We checked in. We kind of went, oh fuck, we'll have a little look.
Oh, the cricket's on. Oh no, it's not.
I did a quick Google, and fuck, wowzers, you could say there, because it was a bit of a shock. Bowled out for 77, and not what you'd be hoping for as a West Indies fan, and not what you're hoping for as a neutral as well.
No,
you'd like to see a little bit more competition, I guess, but yeah, maybe a little bit unfair for the Windies having to come up against a team like that Aussie squad.
Yeah, look, particularly their bowling attack, when they've got Marnie and Travis Head and Smithy's runs to, defend them, they're definitely a lethal bowling attack, particularly in their home conditions. Got one man who managed to do quite well for his first 2 tests in Australian conditions. Shivnarine Chandpal's son. Thought he batted quite well over the series, although it might not be long until we see another famous cricketer's son donning the colours of an international cricket side, the coloured cap at least, with the test attire being all white. But look, famous also might be a little bit of an understatement on this one.
In terms of cricket,
look,
in terms of general being a celebrity,
This guy is, he's
synonymous with cricket.
In India, he's a god, the great Sachin Tendulkar. Now, his son, Arjun, with a first-class century on debut.
Yeah, is it a sign of what's to come, possibly? Is this the next run machine to come out of India?
The next Tendulkar that we see racking up the hundreds. Obviously his father scored 100 international hundreds for India, which is unprecedented, but look, at 23 years of age, I don't quite see him fully emulating his father's career.
That's a tough one. You've got to be in full gear the whole way through your career. You've got to make sure that you can be in a team. You were saying before about how strong India is just based on population, numbers. It's a tough team to crack into, but if you can continue on and one of those cool light-hearted moments, we're in that kind of that age now, I guess, where we're starting to see those people that we watched when we were younger. Their sons are not just in cricket, in terms of all sport, rugby
we
league,
saw
football.
Marcus Thuram this morning playing for France. It's all over the place. It's awesome to see. Definitely one of those.
That bloke you tagged me in the other day playing with 7 of his sons.
Yeah.
Where was that? Somewhere in Aussie?
I don't know. I think it might have been Ireland.
In Ireland.
3.
Some bloke playing
8
with
O'Briens playing in a pack. 54-year-old father.
Yeah, good on him.
Down in the front row.
That's the sort of shit we're getting to see.
Sons.
It's 2022. This is the sort of shit that goes down now. So it's interesting, and it's exciting to see. The up and coming. The second coming of some of these great players. So
the second coming of Tendulkar.
Yeah, really
these great names.
Really cool to see, but. Not the only cricket we had on. It wasn't just Aussie up against the Windies. We also had a little bit of cricket involving the English up against the Pakistanis. And I see you've got down here a few more wickets and a few less centuries. Now that is definitely the case in this one here. Not as many runs scored for sure, but some awesome wickets.
Yeah, the last game was a bit of a joke in terms of centuries, and now this one. Both teams sort of getting torn through by the respective opposition bowling attacks. Look, none better than the Pakistani Abra. What a name, Abra.
Yeah, Abra.
Abra.
You can't really beat that, eh? It's an awesome name, and to get out there and
he's out there nah-braing batsmen, left, right, and centre.
I don't know what stage of the game it was. We checked in. They were 116 for 5 or something like that, and the bloke had all 5 wickets.
Yeah, what did he get in the second innings?
So, like you said, he's out there nah-braing people left, right, and centre. So good on him. Yes, 7 wickets on debut. You can't really be too 2 phase with that there.
7 wickets first innings, 4 second innings, so 11 for on your test debut. Chipping in more than 50% of the wickets. It's yeah, and he looks like a Pakistani Harry Potter as well. That's how I've seen him described.
It's a Pakistani Harry Potter.
The glasses and the hair there.
I'm just going to get him up now. Let's have a little look. Oh, you don't just open Abra. It's actually a densely forested planet.
Abra,
that's
with an R on the end.
Oh, that's looks like it's Star Wars, is it?
Abra Ahmed.
Abra is also a it's also a planet in Star Wars there, punters, so I'm not a big...
Oh, there's no R at the start, sorry, it's just Abra. Abra.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can...
Abra Ahmed.
I can see the similarities. When he's with the glasses on there,
he's... Like this one here.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it, yeah, he's missing the scar.
Yeah,
it's a vital piece of the Harry Potter puzzle there, but with those...
Less of a bowl cut as well.
With those glasses on, I can definitely see it, and obviously he's magic in terms of with the ball, so no reason why he's not, no reason why he couldn't be a wizard, I guess. But it ended up being a pretty short test there in the end, all over pretty fast, and England come away with the win.
Yeah, it could have been all over in 3 days, but 3.5 days there for the English to come away with the win, and Pakistan were mighty close, falling, well, I think 30 or 40 runs there short in the chase of about 350 in the second innings. So yeah, it's a tough one, but look, the English win the series and go on to the third game with that 2-0 lead. I think the English are looking at a lot more threatening ever since we've seen a change of coach and change of captain. Definitely playing a lot better cricket than we saw of them down in Australia last year. I mentioned the 6 for 7 there, and look, yeah, England, they're looking like a dangerous side, and gone to Pakistan and picked up the series win. The Black Caps will be hoping to do the same in a couple of weeks' time.
Oh, exactly. So it's good signs. Good signs there for the Black Caps. Hopefully we can go away and do the same thing. But probably wraps us up in terms of the cricket now. As always, we have a quick little dabble into the NBA now. I must say I wouldn't have even been phased if we just skipped this week. Now I said to you earlier on the day I actually hadn't even looked at anything NBA related since maybe Friday last week, when I checked and saw, oh fuck, we've still got 11 wins, and hey, what do we know? We're sitting at 11 and 18, so we haven't won a game in 8 games. I haven't been up to date at all, unfortunately. I don't know if Beal's injured or where he is, what he's doing, what he's up to. He wasn't playing today. We had definitely a different starting 5 involved, and we ended up losing by about 20 points. So, as I like to always say, there's only one way, and that way is up. We can only go 3 more places down, and we've got the worst losing streak. So I guess it's time. Or maybe we go out there and we break a new record. Is it the most losses in a row, something like that? Gank a little piece of history there, possibly.
Rough.
But yeah, rough times for the Wizards. We'll be hoping to come away with the win in the next couple of days. I'm just having a little look here to see who our next...
You got to ride the troughs to make those peaks that little bit sweeter.
Up against the Clippers on Sunday morning. And I can imagine we're probably going to be in for it there. Clippers sitting there in 6th in the West.
I think they've still got Kawhi and PG wreaking havoc there.
So yeah, who was their starting 5 today up against the T-Wolves? Kawhi, Marcus Morris, Zubac, Paul George and Reggie Jackson. You've got Nick Batum there, Covington. You've got a pretty nice looking squad. A dude called Brandon Boston Jr., what a name. And Terrence Mann, again, can't say I've heard of him, but I think if your last name's Man or Guy, or I've never come across someone, but Dude, if your last name's Dude, get at us.
What's up, Dude?
Because hey, that'd be a sight to see. So if your last name is Dude, get at us.
Especially if your first name's Hickey. Hickey
Dude. Yeah, Hickey Dude. Coming over, we'll find a spot for you here and we'll chuck you on in the middle. But yeah, in terms of the Wizards, I can't say it's been the happiest of times.
Yeah, look, seems like things are definitely going a bit better up the coast in New York than they are in the capital there, with my Knicks sitting at 15 and 13 after a good overtime win today over the Bulls. And yeah, while things seem to be slowly turning a little bit sour in the capital with that losing streak, we just keep chipping away, and I believe it puts us up into 5th or 6th in the conference. So we're sitting pretty compared to where we have been on previous episodes, so I can't say I'm too unhappy with that. But look, it'll be All-Star season soon. Surely voting's open.
Yeah, January, isn't it usually around then? January, December?
This time of year.
I wouldn't have a fucking clue, to be fair, but I know it's around...
All-Star is normally February.
February, there you go.
But the voting surely open soon, and hopefully we see a few of our lads represented. If we can't make the
maybe not. Yeah, we'll see what he's up to.
Himself
you don't know what he's up to, where he is, what he's doing.
Yeah.
So, until we know.
Bradley Beal, reach out.
Yeah. There's a spot for you here as well, mate, so.
We'll probably be sending him back to lace him up.
We might be busy actually anyway, so.
We might also be busy, sure.
But I guess that's probably us in terms of the B-ball. Now, I said earlier on in the piece that I was wearing this for a special reason tonight. Now, just in case you can't see it, we are wearing the Big Rig shirt. We've got it there on the back. We don't want to twirl too much and then rip the old mic out, but we're rocking the Big Rig now. Nice little raffle auction prize, you could say, I guess, from the Spring Open. Now, he got himself underway last week in the Super Series. Now I'll let you know that obviously he was over in the UK and he got himself involved in the Super Series. Bit of an online format, I guess, that they have. They stream it on YouTube, which is pretty cool. Not online darts as such, but they stream it online, and they have a few different groups that play throughout the week, and then you have other stages, and you end up basically accumulates with a little bit of finals nights on a Saturday night, Sunday morning our time, and Ben was able to get himself into the knockout stages, into the series, and unfortunately just fell short. Raymond Smith coming away with the win there, but I thought Ben was played really well. Awesome to see him, coming up against a higher calibre of player. Keeping that average there. I think he had a couple of games there at the start where he averaged over 100. A couple of legs there where he was awesome on his doubles, so if he can, keep this little bit of confidence going, a little bit of momentum going into tomorrow morning. It's the big one now. It's the World Championships. Ben Robb taking the main stage, starting us off, opening up the tournament. You can't beat it, to be the first bloke up there. I mean, you could be the first bloke to lose, but he's not going to be the first bloke.
He's going to be the first bloke introduced.
First bloke. He is the first bloke introduced. I'm pretty sure. First name there on the sheet. So, him up against Mickey Mansell now. Mickey Mansell missed. I think he didn't have his tour card over the last few years, and I think he's only just come out and got it back maybe last year through Q-School, or maybe he was out with an injury. I'm not 100% sure on that. But it's going to be a tough one. But I know that all of the darting community in New Zealand will be rooting for you, Ben. Same as the community up in Birkenhead, obviously, where you come along every now and again. So we'll be hoping for a big win for the Big Rig.
Oh shit, yeah. And I'll be tuning in.
8:30 tomorrow morning. It should be on Sky, so definitely have a watch.
With my brekkie.
Yeah, with your brekkie, a little bit of darts, and if all goes well, I'm not too sure on the timing, but it'll be probably around 10 o'clock, maybe 10:30. He'll be up against Peter Wright. They play the first round 2 game on the same day, so the winner of that game up against Peter Wright will be played probably maybe an hour and a bit afterwards. But yeah, it's a special time. I think the first, because it might have been about maybe 7 or 8 months now since I've sort of got back into the darts. I've always sort of dabbled a little bit and liked it here and there, but I think it would have been when the World Cup was on, and it was a night where Fred and I, we must have stayed up till about 4 in the morning watching the World Cup. And I remember sitting there watching New Zealand there, and Ben was there, and that kind of was like that little bit of like, you had that national pride of, and it was in a sport like darts, and you
national glory.
Yeah,
on the
national
line.
glory. You would have said to us 2 years ago, fuck, you'll be up at 3 in the morning watching darts. I said, fuck no. Not at 3 in the morning, mate. Fuck no. Like, not even for a World Cup. And then to watch it, have him, I guess, spark that love for the sport, and then not only be able to rock his shirt, but get to meet him at Birkenhead and play a game against him. Awesome to see him out there on the big stage, and you know, hopefully we're going to get to see a little bit more of it, get to see him up on our screens, and yeah, so I guess that's the way we're going to sign off this week, with a shout out to the big rig. We wish you well.
Go well, mate. Go well.
We hope you can bring it home. Imagine that, and New Zealander is the world champion of darts.
I can see
beating Gizzy in the final. There'll be a few Guans then, that's for sure.
I can see a Kiwi or a Swede lifting the trophy.
Shout out to Daniel Larson as well. Actually, obviously, Fred. It's a bit ironic, I guess, Fred the Flying Kiwi, but he is Swedish, but he's a big fan of Daniel Larson. Now I can't remember off the top of my head who he is up against in the first round, but I believe he may be up on maybe Saturday morning. Now, if I have a little look here, it says, it might take me a wee while to find this. It shouldn't. Match centre. Oh, that is last year's. Now, you're going to have to go out there and have a look yourself, punters. Get yourself involved, have a little look if you do like Swedish darts players, you do like Daniel Larson. Have a little look. I've got it up against Adrian Lewis. So what a matchup! Oh, yeah, big one up against the jackpot. And yeah, it'll be a tough one for him. But we'll be supporting Daniel Larson too. So if we could have a Daniel Larson, Ben Robb final of the World Championship of Darts, I don't think the punters would be picking it.
We'd have one happy punter out there.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'd have a strong Kiwi contingent who would be very happy to see him out there. But we wish you well, sir. Go well. And to you, listeners and viewers, now it's a first for us, being up here in the new setup with the cameras rolling. You know, we've acclimatised to the mics. Now I've got a big head. Now this fella it gets tough on the ears, but now I've acclimatised to it, and now we bring in the big guns.
A new obstacle.
Now
a new obstacle to contend with.
I feel like I've probably been darting around the room a little bit in terms of my eyes, but we hope that it will turn out well. Let us know what you reckon. Give us your feedback, and as always, thanks to you for sitting through the last hour and a bit of bullshit with us. And we'll be back next week with a little bit more, I guess.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, remember to give us those likes and 5 stars and subscribe. Yeah, enjoy the World Cup final on Monday, and hopefully we see the big man Ben Robb. Went to say Ben Rig.
Ben Rig.
Rig. The big Robb or the Ben Rig, whatever you want to call him. I was going to say he doesn't mind, but I couldn't tell you that he might mind.
To be fair, I probably couldn't tell you that. Maybe
don't. Call
he's
him
he's a crazy dude, but maybe don't go if you meet him first time. Hey, Ben Rig.
Ben
sure
Rig
probably have a laugh,
but Big Robb.
Yeah.
But yeah, go well, mate. Hope to see you making a bit of a run for it for those those lads in Burko, or lads all across New Zealand, I suppose. But yeah, make sure if you're having a punt, as we always say, to do so responsibly. And yeah, we'll be back same time, same place next week. Maybe not same time, depending on our schedules, but yeah,
same place, hopefully.
Same place.
Yeah.
Maybe a few more decorations, but ciao.
See you there.
Marshall skips away, Marshall's still going, Marshall's got Richards coming up outside, now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.